The backlash regarding the new Oilers hiring of Stan Bowman as their new general manager could backfire on the team. But before we get into the whole backlash from the fans and media, make sure to subscribe here to Oilers Digest, as 90% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel. We'll cover this extensively throughout the week, into the weekend, and then possibly some more contract extensions as the Oilers try to clear up their cap space. But more importantly, we got things to talk about today, and that is the backlash regarding Stan Bowman. Yes, many media members have also reacted negatively alongside the fans to the Oilers hiring Stan Bowman, who's only officially reinstated by the league back on July 1st, alongside fellow ex-Chicago Blackhawk employees Joel Quenneville and Al McIsaac, of course, for their role in the Kyle Beach situation back in the spring of 2010. Eric Macramella from Edmonton Sports Talk Radio says, "Why on earth should the Oilers hire Stan Bowman? Terrible business decision. Astonishingly tone deaf." And then old school hockey back at it again with the classic NHL old boys club, recycling jobs from one team to another. Of course, you've heard that, you've read that all over the place. It is alive and well. And then also the Athletics, Mark Lazarus, he was the beat writer for the Chicago Blackhawks, still is, I do believe. He says, "I'm genuinely glad that Stan Bowman has put in the work to learn, to understand, to grow, and to help others handle future situations properly, truly. But we can't forget that these men's craven failure led directly to the sexual abuse of a minor." Of course, alongside Kyle Beach, there was also a second John Doe with the Brad Aldrich situation when, Stan Bowman gave him a letter of recommendation. Aldrich went on to another hockey team, and then this is what transpired. You don't have to hire them, and that is right on the nose. I mean, you don't have to hire them, make them earn their wings back, or even yet let them do something else that's not in the sport of hockey, because the sport of hockey, its reputation is kind of not good when it comes to, the toxic hockey culture, the hazing, the bullying, all the harassment. It just makes the sport, it's very, very bush league on the sport. I mean, what else do you have to say? I mean, just be cool, And then Oilers Nation, who covered the press conference with Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman. And then Jeff Jackson on the negative fan reaction, saying, "I think fans are entitled to their opinion. They have opinions about firing coaches and making trades. I think the decision to bring Stan in is in the best interest for the organization. That's very questionable." And then he also added, "Give him a chance. I'm not worried about it." Jeff Jackson on the fan reaction. Of course, when you try to, make an opinion, you see this. Jeff Jackson making his Twitter private. It just kind of shows the lack of a moral backbone when it comes to what reaction you're going to get when you make this move, instead of letting the fans voice their opinion. I mean, it's just kind of like I said, bush league for Jeff Jackson to do something like this. When you say make the fans voice their opinions, but you protect your Twitter, that kind of goes against what you say at all. And then there's some fan backlash. Let's look at some of the fan backlash. There's a fan saying, "It's really too bad. This is going to be an exciting season. Now I can't support this team the same way I always have. Money is obviously the only thing these guys care about, so I stopped playing for Oilers Plus, which is their video subscription service, and Sportsnet." And then fan reactions on Twitter took a similar slant across the board, with a Twitter user, DHockey13, saying, "The Oilers had one of the best off-seasons I've seen in my lifetime, just to end it all, hiring Stan Bowman, who shouldn't be anywhere near the NHL again." And I believe, shouldn't be anywhere near hockey again. Going into this week here, Jeff Jackson, when it comes to McDavid and Draisaitl, letting them know, he said, "Of course I talked to Daryl Cates extensively about it, who is the owner of the team, and some of the other people in management, guys like Bob Nicholson, but he did not talk to the players," which kind of, it's kind of questionable. I mean, some of the players don't really care about what happens behind the scenes when it comes to management, but some players, they do care about that. And like your two-star players who, are on the cusp of free agency, that's kind of important. Of course, Draisaitl, Jackson, and Stan Bowman, they'll all gather together for contract extensions, but to not let, your big guns know what's going on, it's kind of questionable. And then just looking here, not on like a personal side, but like on a hockey side too. Stan Bowman, not good. You can see here at Kinger999, Chicago hired Stan Bowman July 14, 2009. So that was the summer before their first cup, when he replaced Dale Talon in the GM chair. And you can see the names that they already had before they won the cup. I mean, you have the big three there with, like Kane, Keith, and Taves, Seabrook, Marion Hossa, Brian Campbell, Bufflin, Dave Bolin, Anthony Niemi, Corey Crawford. And then he said, please spare me about the Cup's Bowman. In quotes, one hired on third base with a deep fly ball already in the air. And I mean, that hits the nail on the head when it comes to Bowman's success. No, that wasn't all him. That was Dale Talent, and then that was also just other smaller moves that occurred. It wasn't Bowman trying to big brain the whole operation, and that's what led to Chicago's mini dynasty. No, he can't take all the credit for that, and like even some of his awful moves there. It apparently made him worth the trouble there from NHL Golden Boy. You can see there some of his fantastic moves, like trading Artemi Panarin for Brandon Saad, changing the defensive sort of market there, signing Seth Jones to $9.5 million for 8 years, trading Teuvo Teravainen for a second and a third, trading Philip Deneau for Dale Weiss and Thomas Fleischmann, got the names mixed up, and then again extending his aging core to disastrous contracts with, again, the names you can see there, like Kane and Taves, extended Keith, who had that garbage contract that, Edmonton bailed Chicago out of with, the Caleb Jones and Keith deal. So, no, again, he is not worth the trouble. And then lastly here, something that I am astonished over from Rick Westhead, who is the best name in the game when it comes to, the trying to dig deeper into the toxic hockey culture. He said new Oilers GM Stan Bowman said he's built a positive relationship with Kyle Beach over the past year. Bowman was asked today if he contacted John Doe 2, the high school player sexually assaulted by Brad Aldrich after he left the Hawks organization in 2010. Bowman sort of dodged the question, didn't answer them directly. He said, anyone negatively impacted, I feel for them, and I certainly wish they don't go through it. And then John Doe, of course, doesn't have the freedom to share his perspective in story publicly unless and until the Blackhawks release him from a non-disclosure agreement he had to sign when the NHL team settled his lawsuit. And again, just lots of questions here relating Bowman. Like, does he truly feel, remorseful for his, actions? It took him a long time for him to admit that he felt remorseful because, of course, the Blackhawks organization swept that under the rug for the longest time. And to, put a bow on things, I don't think he deserves a second chance. I've said it time and time again, working in the National Hockey League is a privilege, and once you lose that privilege, it's very hard to get it back, if at all. And for Jeff Jackson to, destroy, the goodwill that he's created for, the Edmonton Oilers this summer when it came, off the cusp of a Game 7 loss to Florida, very close Game 7 loss to Florida, and into his fantastic free agency in trade work, gaining Matt Savoy and Roby Urventi, to bolster the prospect pool, and then he just craters that whole momentum for the Oilers, and it'll take a long time for some people to get back on that Oilers bandwagon. As you can see there, some fans, they cancel their subscriptions. I've seen some fans outright, take their jerseys down to Goodwill, get rid of all of their merchandise because they simply don't want to support this team. And I kind of agree with that. Of course, I won't, completely abandon the fan base, but just lots of questions that I don't think will ever be answered when it comes to, Stan Bowman. And why he's back in the league. It could be because, Daryl Cates wanted to give him a second chance. The Oilers have been, the NHL's halfway house for the longest time, down to Craig McTavish and into the past few years with Evander Kane and Corey Perry. But let me know down in the comments your entire thoughts and feelings about this situation. I myself still trying to figure those out, but that's it for today. Make sure to check out the other video with the initial reaction towards the hiring. And have yourselves a great day. We'll have more coverage on this later throughout the week. I'm Matt.